Before we start this town meeting, could we, just take it down a minute? Not a whole minute, because fuck, who's got one of those lying around with the pins and loose coins? Keep track of those. Seriously, nobody has any money. Put those in a fucking jar. I see someone leaving a fucking dime lying around, I'm shaming you on TikTok. Let's do a few seconds. Can we do a bunch of seconds? Because we need a minute, but who's got that kind of money? So just bow your heads or whatever you want. It's your life, I don't care. Almighty whatever that's listening, and hopefully 'tis a merciful deity, because we got shit going on and we get it, you're bigger than us, but take it easy, it's been a bitch. We are about to hear some opinions and facts surrounding other things that people have facts and opinions on. But peoples lately have been cranky and haven't been out in a while, so they forgot how to drive. So may you bless us during the following with the gifts of focus and nuance. Because, I don't know if you read the comments, but it's looking like we've been in a drought for a while and could use the rain. In the name of rousing, carousing, and raising some shit, in the spirit of free press, we pray. If you know, you know. Hey, hey, my. If you're from Chicago, you know 3 things. 1, get a comfy pair of pajamas because you're going to wear them under your clothes from November to May. 2, the good bars are the ones that look closed, but take the parents to the breweries so they don't get nervous. And 3, the lake is east. Also, if you're actually from Chicago and not just a transplant from Kansas who brought enough rounds, paid for enough Ubers, and has been here through enough winters that you've finally been accepted in the community, you say you know tree things. Obviously, there's more, nuance be praised, but you get the idea. It's a tough place to be from. The weather doesn't get you, the general politics around here will, because it's all the Gotham City villains, they come here to take a time out after being beat by the Batman. But this breeds a certain caliber of hometown human, despite what the YouTube and TV tells you Chicago is. For some, it's a barren hellscape of crime and Old West shootouts. For others, it's everybody's here was a cop at one point and we just went rogue for justice. No matter where you're from, Chicago is a hometown. And like all hometowns, we drink in the afternoon. I don't give a fuck if you like it. And everyone knows everyone and definitely heard that thing and has a screenshot. We pass notes here, is what I'm saying. We keep track. And the Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper with all the info, pics, opinions, ideas, journals, stories, both kinky and chaste, of our small town of 8,901,000 people is the Chicago Reader. Back in the 70s, Robert Roth started a zine made for and by peoples in Chicago, but on the street Chicago, not the deep dish crowd, the dip beef crowd, you know what I mean? If you don't, it's fine, don't at me, it's food. Under an editorial mission based on a Tom Wolfe quote, the future of the newspaper as opposed to the past, which is available at every newsstand, lies in your direction, i.e. the sheet willing to deal with the way we live now. And summed up in their 1-year anniversary editorial in 1972, quote, we find street sellers more interesting than politicians, and musicians more interesting than the Cubs. They're closer to home. In its 51 years, it has been the scrappy hometown meat people in this town know about, and it just doesn't taste right anywhere else. It circulates to over 50,000 people in this little town. It's the place to know what's going on, what's happening, who we should be proud of and who we should be righteously peeved at, and where to find the best tacos on 420. Righteous and true to their word, they're the George Bailey of alt news. And according to the Association of Alternative News Weeklies, quote, the most significant historical event in the creation of modern alt weekly, pioneered the practice of free circulation, a cornerstone of today's alternative papers, and also developed a new kind of journalism, ignoring the news and focusing on the everyday life and ordinary people, end quote. It lived off ad revenue and is always free, operating at a loss, passed back and forth between wealthy peoples trying to keep it alive, and it was eventually bought again in 2018 for $1 before finally securing a path to nonprofit during the pandemic. But then, November 24th, 2021, Co-owner Len Goodman published an op-ed, quote, called Vaxxing Our Kids, Why I'm Not Rushing to Get My 6-Year-Old the COVID-19 Vaccine, claiming he doesn't trust a rushed vaccine, and that the prominent media personalities are shills for Big Pharma that are paid to push the vaccine now. Why Len Goodman didn't save this for Thanksgiving dinner is a mystery, but whatever, he owns it. Published the article, and the alt news staff got a little concerned. They wanted a fact check. Publisher Tracy Bain did. They found over a dozen instances of falsehoods and misleading information because, you know, they're the news and they know where to get the best Cubanos in the city. But Goodman pushed back and claimed censorship, and now, bam, we're back at Thanksgiving dinner 2021 all over again. And before we continue, yes, comment section, I fucking hear you. One person's fact check is another person's censorship. One person's correction is another person's choking my God-given constitutional right to freedom, and I'll die on this hill screaming, fuck Spotify, Joe Rogan forever, how many army crawls can you do? Try this, it's all natural. It's fine. Opinions are two sides of a coin that's a dime a dozen. I got some in a jar in case it gets wild. So all was not well in the small town of Chicago. Potter had George Bailey by the walnuts. He was going to finally let George have the bank, and George was going to give it back to the people. But now Potter was mad, and he tightened up. Old man Potter yelled, First Amendment! And George was all, no, actually, it's just editorial oversight. And now there was, gee golly, no way George was going to give the bank back to the people. Quote, it is a hostage situation, says longtime editor Philip Montaro. Len Goodman called the fact-checking industry, quote, Orwellian. It's a tale as old as 2016. And then, on April 21st, 2022, on a day finally above 30 degrees when the air didn't hurt your face, the editorial union, staff, and supporters of the Reader sang in the streets and marched outside of Old Man Goodman's mansion. The people rallied and cheered, Free the Reader, Save the Reader, and they got two Scabby the Rats. And like, I don't know if you know this, but Scabby the Rat is a giant inflatable rat that people summon from the depths of the city like a Lovecraftian elder god to shame anyone that goes against the unions. We don't know where he goes once he's done. To the sewers, to the sea? It's not for us to know, for it is beyond our mortal minds. Finally, it was decided that George and Mr. Potter would meet, and meet they did on Tuesday, April 26th, as the denizens of the sleepy town of Chicago gathered in the streets, still glistening in the April snow. And Len Goodman announced that he would let go, saying, quote, we cannot continue the fight without destroying the Reader. I'm stepping aside. So, Merry Christmas, Music Box! Merry Christmas, Emporium, Barcade, and the Logan Arcade, which is my fave. Merry Christmas, you old MoneyGram on Lawrence and Ashland. The Reader has won. It is here to stay. Scrappy, dirty, hard-hitting, and right here in your hometown of Chicago. And if you don't know, now you do. I love you. Good night. Chad.